spin that block, get dizzy. Man get popped, no busy. Man get splashed from the Draco. Wet man call that drizzy.
On the All-Star game happening, you see, like we said, they canceled the Raptors game today, and they canceled a lot of other games due to COVID protocol. A lot of players got to sit out. You heard the displeasure? A lot of players are speaking out saying, "Hey, I don't think we should be having an All-Star game." What's your thoughts?
Well, I think it is kind of hypocritical to kind of have an All-Star game considering, the state of the world. And then, if you're going to, try and say, hey, we need to be safe and, if you're having an All-Star game, you know what happens at All-Star games.
Yeah.
Outside of the game, there's a lot of interactions. There's a lot of, things going on. So it's like, if you really wanted to protect your players, then I think you should have you named the All-Stars, but you don't have to have the game. You know what I mean? As a fan, obviously I want to see the game, you know what I mean? But just on the side of, looking at it as a common sense, well, if you guys are preaching this, and then doing this, it seems like you guys are more concerned about the business side of it than the safety. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, so the optics definitely don't look good, and you know what I mean. I agree with. I'm in line with the players. Like the optics don't look good at all. You can't be talking one way but when the money's on the line, you're going after the bag, right? So I get that. But you know what this whole thing has showed me, bro? I remember we did a piece before and saying, if LeBron wants to be the GOAT, he should sit out and encourage everyone to sit out. Being a union man myself, because I'm part of a union, like the players, they don't have much power, yo. You know what I mean? Because of the collective bargaining agreement, if they choose to say, like, they can say we're boycotting, blah blah, on the strength of social justice, and the league will rock with them because that's good PR. But in terms of like just saying, "Nah, we're not doing this in the name of public safety," that will then kick in the CBA, which will allow the owners to void contracts or void whatever, right? And it just shows you at the end of the day, as much as we think these players have power, they really don't. You know what I mean? Because as you can see, they're speaking out against the All-Star game, hoping that it'll get traction in the media. But if they had the power, why wouldn't they sit out? Why would they say no? And the fact that the NBA, as much as it is entertainment, it's a business, and they're gonna go after that bag whenever they need to.
Yeah, just to add to that, it's just like with Kyrie, you kind of see him trying to go against the grain, but he still has to come back because that money, what I mean? He still has to come back to that money. So, he kind of tried to, a thing, but at the end of the day, it's like you're still bound to a contract, and you're not trying to run away from, what is he making, like 30 plus mil?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro.
You ain't gonna get that at Walmart.
Exactly. So, you know what I mean? As much as these guys want to fight for social justice and kind of do right by, the peoples and whatnot, at the end of the day, they're not willing to make that sacrifice.
No.
You know what I mean? They're not, you know what I mean? Guys are not built like Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? Guys are not built like the Jim Browns and, you know what I mean? Guys are not built like them. So.
Yo, well said, yo. And but you know what? I ain't gonna judge because I'm not in a situation. If I had a $20 million contract, it'd be hard for me to,
Yeah, and I kind of put myself in that same scenario, especially like being poor your whole life, and then now you're able to take care of people and whatever, and by you saying, okay, you know what, I'm a boycott, forget about the money and whatever. We don't know how much people are affected by that.
Yeah.
So it's easy for us on the outside looking in to say that, but at the end of the day, is it worth it or not? You know what I mean? And that's up to that individual.
Facts. Yo, shout out to Craig Hodges. Shout out to Mahmoud Abdul Roof. I know I may not be saying it right.
Yeah.
We gonna do a segment on those guys another time. But shout out to those guys who were like trailblazers, because They didn't give a F. They gave no Fs, man. They were like, yo, I ain't rocking with this. I ain't standing for your anthem. I'm a stand up for my rights and my right to express myself. You know what I mean? They were doing that before it was trendy to do it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to those brothers. They don't get enough pub. And that was back when the money wasn't even like what it is now. This is back when like, yo, 500K, like that could set you up for a long time. You know what I mean? Now, Kyrie can live off the money he's made in Cleveland, much less, you know what I mean, voiding a contract this season, right? These guys, these players are really set up pretty well now. So back then, I think it was a lot harder back then. So shout out to those brothers.
Spin that block, get dizzy. Man get popped, no fizzy. Man get splashed from the Drake out. Wet man call that drizzy.